Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it's there. Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, good, man. Sports, crazy videos, I guess. Did we? Oh, now. I guess that's about we can do some of that. Yeah. For stuff you did 4 hours. 4 hours in the shadow. Okay, yeah. Yeah. What kind of tea do you want? Tea. Hi. That look good? Good. Yeah, it's great. Went up the other way. Up there on Sunday.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I want to talk more about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's
Do you mind if I read this?
No, you can put
Because it looked very good.
watching this? Call right now. And then just watch one.
Is it gonna change your back?
Yeah. Call twice. John. I was on the flight. Here?
Now, Michael knows what that says.
All the time.
What's that? What's going on? I don't know. Nobody wants to sit there, I guess.
Was she here Monday? She was good. Yeah. On vacation. Oh, no. What?
Yeah.
Oh, you sure? Monday was hot. Monday was miserable. It was great. We pray for the West.
You don't understand how mad I am that this case got reset to this.
I know.
I was gonna be up here like in March.
Don't respond because he didn't get some of the issues.
Yeah. That's
Because we're
Sure. It was going to be sure he has to say in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Hello, internet.
Right there.
Fast reach.
The fast reach leads.
Depths. That's a reader site there.
Yes.
That's yours. Yeah, that's. Mhm. It's good. Yeah, we've got one on there. No, no, right here. No.
Mr. Jacobson, can you introduce yourself for our record? I am Robert Jacobson. Did you used to work at InfoWars? Yes, sir.
That's gonna work.
Good morning, Mr. Dundee.
Good morning.
One thing you mentioned earlier is that you were.
Sorry.
I emailed yesterday. Thanks.
I'll switch back over to you.
Thank you. Give me the first plaintiff's exhibit book. Sorry, Phil? Oh.
I was like, make it right.
All right. 47 seconds.
All right, you may sit down. You're ready.
Ms. Karpova, I'd like to pick up where we left off talking about green screen, blue screen. Okay?
Sure.
Is there a green screen, blue screen in the InfoWars studio?
Yes, one of the offices has a green screen.
And does Alex work with it?
On occasion.
And if you know, why do they call it green screen, blue screen?
I think I vaguely remember doing the research. I think it has to do with.
Objection again to Rule 702, actually, that's not what blue screen, green screen is.
Let me go back to defining terms briefly. One term I think we heard used that was not, one term I think we heard used that was not on our list was, yes, synthetic. What does synthetic mean in the context of InfoWars?
I think it means manipulated in some sort of a way.
We're going to move now into the 2014 to 2015 period. And Wolfgang Halbig. Who is this?
To our understanding at that time, this was a former police officer. He was also a former school district employee and a school safety officer.
As you sit here today, do you believe that to be the case?
No, sir.
Did Wolfgang Halbig ever work for InfoWars?
No, never.
What is his sort of, what community does he belong to?
At that time or currently?
At that time?
He was in, I would say, a truther community.
Did the people at InfoWars believe him when he said that he had all these credentials?
Yes, yes, they did.
Was that how would you describe that decision?
It was the worst decision ever made by the company.
Is InfoWars or was it at the time, an organized place?
It wasn't, and no, it wasn't.
Is it today?
No.
Describe what you mean by it being disorganized at the time.
Well, firstly, we have very limited personnel to take care of a lot of issues. People doing multiple jobs. If there's a separation between departments, they definitely do not talk to each other. They don't have time. A department may constitute 1 or 2 people that are doing the jobs of 10 people. There's just a lack of communication in general. And also, everybody just tries to cater to Alice's needs and orders, stuff that just anything you ask for, you try to satisfy that.
I want to ask you about some documents that were discussed by Mr. Bankston yesterday. And I won't put them up for the jury, not to waste time, but the first one I want to ask you about is we saw plaintiff's exhibit 43 was a picture of the Sandy Hook school children at Sandy Hook school choir performing at the Super Bowl, and superimposed on the kids were the names of different victims of the Sandy Hook shooting.
Correct.
Do you recall that document?
Yes.
Did InfoWars produce that document? Withdrawn. Did InfoWars make that document up? I don't mean produce it in litigation, I mean make it up.
Absolutely not.
Do you know where it came from?
I noticed the stamp on the picture, which says ODD TV, and just from my browsing YouTube, I know that's a YouTube channel.
As far as you know, as you sit here today as corporate representative, was that picture ever broadcast by InfoWars to the world?
I did my best to try to figure that out, and I've come to the conclusion that we most likely did not air that photo.
The person who that photo was sent to, what's his name?
Nico.
Okay, and he's a producer as well?
He used to be the producer.
And based on your knowledge of Nico, do you think he would have aired a picture like that?
I knew Nico pretty well. We worked together, and he tended to be a cautious person who would err on the side of not showing images of children.
There's another image, plaintiff's exhibit 77. The next one. You recall being shown this email chain?
Yes.
Now, where did you, where in the United States did you grow up?
New York City.
Did you ever have occasion to watch or listen to the Howard Stern show?
I used to be a big fan in my high school days,
Has Alex ever appeared on the Howard Stern show?
multiple times.
And can you tell us the photograph here of the gentleman missing the teeth with the white t-shirt on, the meme? Who is that?
Yeah, so that has become a prominent meme, and that was also a real person, a comedian, a guest named Beetlejuice, who would be a frequent contributor and guest with Howard Stern.
And does Beetlejuice really look that way?
Yes, and implying that picture is racist is projecting their own racism on this picture, because as people, we tend to project our own decency and lack thereof, and I think that's what happened here earlier, because this is the comedian that works with Howard Stern, and he's doing a meme there.
I'd like to go back to exhibit 31. And we're going to talk a little bit about this 2014 to 2015 period. As the corporate representative, during that period from 2014 to 2015, what was Alex Jones's belief as to whether children had really been killed at Sandy Hook?
I believe he was believing that there were children.
My question is, during this period, during the Wolfgang Halbig period,
Hold up. Sorry about that. During that period, Alex, I think, was heavily influenced by Wolfgang Halbig, as well as Steve Chenik. He did consider the possibility that there were no children killed.
is he proud of that?
No, he's not, and it's still, it weighs very heavily on his heart still.
So to catch up with our timeline, we've now moved, and we're referring to plaintiff's exhibit 31. We've now moved am I indicating with my finger the first episode that aired at that time was on what date?
February 20th, 2014.
And we can see that there were, well, how many, can you estimate approximately how many episodes there were between 2014 and July of 2015?
About 15, 20 maybe?
Now, on July 8th of 2015, we have the fight for freedom of information in Sandy Hook. And then there's a gap in time. About how long is that gap?
I would say about 16 months or so.
Do you know why there was no more Sandy Hook coverage during that period?
Yes,
Please tell the members of the jury.
because Alex had explicitly told writers and hosts not to cover.
And you were working there at the time,
Yes, I know.
so you personally know that.
Yes,
Now, in 2016, there was a big election, you recall?
yes,
And who was running for president?
Donald Trump.
Who was he running against? Can you describe the atmosphere at InfoWars during that period?
Well, we were heavily involved in the election. We run a lot of extra broadcasts. And Alex put his heart behind Donald Trump.
Had Alex ever supported a presidential candidate explicitly before?
No, never.
And why was that?
Because Alex has stated on numerous occasions that Democrats and Republicans are on one ilk, they belong to the same family, and they both do not have the interests of American people in their heart.
If both the Democratic and the Republican Party are corrupt, why did Alex Jones and InfoWars support Donald Trump?
Because Alex believed that Donald Trump was outside of that establishment. That he was a self-made man who made his money by hard work with his own business.
At some point, did Alex Jones become a talking point for the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Yes.
Can you describe that for us?
Hillary Clinton had called out him by name in one of her speeches, try to tie him to Donald Trump and also tie Alex Jones to Sandy Hook.
And what was Hillary Clinton saying about Alex Jones and Sandy Hook?
Don't remember the exact quote, but how he's saying nobody died at Sandy Hook, things like that, how callous he was to the parents, something along those lines.
Now, did this cause there to be another segment produced on the Sandy Hook saga?
Yes.
At this time, we'll play plaintiff's video exhibit 18, which is in evidence. We're going to move on and come back to plaintiff's video exhibit 18. We saw it yesterday. After Alex published that statement, was there once more silence from InfoWars regarding Sandy Hook?
Yes,
And what, if anything, caused that to change in 2017?
I believe that was when Megan Kelly had reached out to Alex Jones, asking him to appear on her show.
And how did Alex respond to that invitation by Megan Kelly?
At first, he knows it's they lied, but she convinced him that it's not going to be about Sandy Hook because he explicitly did not want to continue to bring up Sandy Hook and aggravate parents in any way. And she convinced him that this was going to be a friendly interview, that Sandy Hook was not going to come up, and that she just wanted to get to know him as a personality and as a man.
Did she come to Austin? Did she meet with him in person?
Yes, she did.
How much time did she spend?
Days.
Do you know if at some point Alex became aware that that's not at all what the segment was going to be?
You mean before?
After meeting?
He didn't. I believe that he didn't realize that until it was already time for the interview and it was already taped.
And what happened during the taping of the interview?
Well, she made it all to be about Sandy Hook, and she set a trap for him that he fell into.
How did that go over at InfoWars?
Could you be more specific?
What was the reaction at InfoWars and by Alex to having been entrapped into this interview to discuss something that he wanted to put behind him?
I mean, everyone was very upset about it. There were people who did not want to do the interview in the first place, but we really cannot tell Alex what to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. And people were just realizing that it was a really, really bad mistake to get done.
And do you recall when the interview was set to air on national television with Megan Kelly and Alex?
Yeah, I think it was close to Father's Day, around there.
And how did Alex feel about the idea of this video airing on Father's Day?
He was absolutely horrified by it.
And did he come to a decision to reach out to the parents?
Yes, he did.
At this point, we'd offer defense exhibit 67.
No objection, Your Honor.
Defense 67 is admitted.
Woke up this morning on Father's Day. I was holding my young infant daughter in my arms, looking into her eyes, sitting out on the back porch, hearing the birds sing, and it just brought tears to my eyes, thinking about all the parents that have lost their children on Father's Day or Mother's Day, who have to then think about that. Parents should never have to bury their own children. And that's why on Father's Day, I want to reach out to the parents of the slain children at the horrible tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, and give you my sincere condolences. I'd also like to reach out to any of the parents who lost a child in Newtown to invite them to contact me to open a dialogue, because I think it's really essential we do that. instead of letting the MSM misrepresent things and really try to drive this nation apart. Right now is a time for unity and peace in our country, I think now more than ever.
On Father's Day 2017,
Yes, I believe so.